Yes.
No, I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to.
Okay.
More than 8 million of you watched these two brothers get accepted into their dream colleges. Take a look at this.
Wait, back up.
College. Millions of young adults all around the world work tirelessly to get into their dream school. They apply their senior year in high school and cross their fingers they get in. Fortunately, for many, they get into their dream schools on the first try. However, a different story occurs for many students all around the world. Schools all around the world are facing pressures for their increasing tuition rates, lack of diversity, and lack of return on investment. One of the biggest issues that colleges face is the representation in their student body. Most notably, Harvard was put on a spotlight for weighing race in their admissions process, putting a spotlight on affirmative action.
The government has put their financial futures in the hands of predatory, for-profit loan servicing companies. Companies like Navient and other companies you will hear from today have a history of misleading borrowers and pushing them into repayment plans.
It's a case the Supreme Court doesn't want. Both of the University of Texas cases, though the plaintiff did win them, she never ended up at the University of Texas, and the guidelines that were sent down were a little ambiguous. So maybe the universities in the country do need some firm guidelines. It'll be a couple of years before it gets there.
I mean, it's fascinating when you think about this, because affirmative action was supposed to create some more diversity on college campuses, right? So now it's like, oh, well, all of these Asian students are doing so well that they're taking up too much space. So back off while we make room for some of these other groups.
What was originally put in place to increase the diversity of students on campus has ultimately put a disadvantage on many ethnicities such as Caucasians and Asian Americans, resulting in many individuals in those ethnic groups to have more obligations to excel than their other counterparts such as Latinos and African Americans.
This is a really important case for Asian Americans. It will really determine the role that Asian Americans play in race relations in the future, and whether or not we will be duped by misinformation about an Asian penalty in college admissions, or whether we will stand up for more access to education.
Despite many people's thoughts on pulling back affirmative action, many believe that color consciousness is necessary, especially for underrepresented minorities. People such as Amy Gutman argue that since justice is only equitable in the ideal state, and that the United States is not an ideal state, we must have color consciousness in our institutions and processes. As colleges and the pressure to get into them increases, should colleges place an emphasis on race and color? Should Asian Americans and Caucasians be cast under a generalization that all of them have the same upbringing and educational journey? What should colleges do in order to rectify the inequitable past while also providing equity to the students of the future? The question we must ask ourselves in creating the systems of tomorrow is it morally consistent to use discrimination to end discrimination? There happens to be thousands of minorities who do not support affirmative action, and should their voices matter in this debate, and should they impact other minorities as well? What about other non-minorities? Affirmative action lumps a lot of ethnicities under a pan-ethnic category. For example, I'm a Vietnamese male under the pan-ethnic category Asian. Statistically, as a Vietnamese male, our ethnic group does not academically perform well compared to the model minorities such as the Chinese and Koreans. The Vietnamese group, just like Laotians and Mongolians, are faced with systemic disadvantages while enduring the high standards on Asians of affirmative action. Affirmative action seems to pick generalizations that are most convenient to the systems that are creating them. Many others feel a similar view.
Asian students straight out ask me if being Asian will hurt their chances, or if it's better to mark their race as other instead of Asian. Seriously? We've reached the point where kids are afraid to admit their own ethnicity? It's true. And sadly, it appears their concerns are not unfounded. One study showed Asians had to score higher on the SAT than all other ethnicities to get into top colleges.
In the divisive world that we live in, is it okay that we're creating such a powerful system that makes young adults deny their own heritage and origins? Colleges must increase the diversity of their student population without compromising the talent that is applying every year. We must create a system that celebrates, appreciates, and rewards the hard work of the people that will be the generation of the future.